Ciudad Juarez, in my view, is the most dangerous city on Earth right now. Taking into consideration Iraq, Afghanistan, all the revolutions happening in the Middle East, they're all horrible, but nothing compared to Juarez, Mexico.
On the banks of the Rio Grande, the most dangerous city in the world shares its border with the safest city in America, El Paso. In a hostile place, I arrive to a warm welcome. Juarez's population is about the size of Perth, but it's the epicentre of the world's drug supply, including Australia, especially cocaine. I arrive in the midst of a bloody turf war between rival drug cartels. That afternoon, I meet press photographer Hector Dyer. When a murder happens, he's first on the scene. Hector's been called to a gangland execution, a daily ritual for him, a first for me.
There's literally a crowd on the street just watching on. But for them, this is nothing new. We're just arriving at a scene where one person has apparently just been executed. There's the body up ahead. We're just approaching now. There's already an ambulance there. This is just the first murder for the day. Neighbours heard 5 shots being fired. He's apparently been here for half an hour. Now the police forensics are moving in. Give me an idea of just how many people are killed here in Juarez every day.
The last year it was about 10 killings per day.
10 killings per day?
10 killings.
It's unbelievable.
It's like 1 every 2 hours.
Come across fights between the drug cartels?
Every day. Every day is a fight.
In Juarez, rival gangs are fighting to control the lucrative trade.
There's apparently been an assault in downtown Juarez, and we're just searching for it now.
It's bad. Bájense con guantes eso, Con guantes.
2:10 on the streets of Juarez. This is just one more brutal attack.
Bashed, bloodied, and barely alive. And he's one of the lucky ones, a foot soldier who crossed a rival gang.
This town, it seems lawless.
Absolutely lawless, yes. The only law that is applying now is the bullets.
How do you feel about operating on a potential drug trafficker that may have killed someone?
I'm not a judge, I'm a surgeon, and every human being is just as far as one decision to be a bad guy. Just one decision. Everybody can be corrupted.
Let's just say that this is a $40 to $60 billion a year industry, where Mexico is the largest stakeholder.
No one knows more about the dangers of Juarez and Mexico than Brad Barker, president of the Halo Corporation.
They're going to take control and they're going to scare you.
Brad runs a team of ex-commandos whose work includes rescuing foreigners kidnapped by drug gangs for ransom. And business is booming.
Whether it's the cocaine or crystal meth or ecstasy or any of these drugs that are coming to the United States from any Latin American or Middle Eastern, yes, Middle Eastern origin, the front door for drugs is Mexico. In particular, Juarez.
When they're not warring with each other, the cartels are taking on the state. In Juarez, when a raid goes down, it's the police and army who are often outgunned. This is a police raid on a house owned by a gang member.
Any male plays army. When you're a young male in Juarez, you're playing for real, and you're playing for keeps. You're using automatic weapons, AK-47s, fragmentation grenades, plastic explosives like C4, RPGs, rocket-propelled grenades. These are the most sophisticated pieces of equipment that are used to fight wars globally, and children have them in Mexico.
The most feared drug lord fighting for control in Juarez is a man they call El Chapo. In 2001, he escaped from a maximum security prison. Someone high up had been paid to smuggle him out. El Chapo is now Mexico's most wanted man.
What do you know about El Chapo?
Well, we know that he's an incredible leader. He's among the best at recruiting people. He has been able to evade capture, and then once captured, he's been able to get away. He is almost mythical in his story.
Juarez is the distribution point for not only America's cocaine, marijuana and heroin, but much of the world's. And Australia is considered a big market by the cartel bosses.
These are very sophisticated, organized crime organizations that are using terrorism to achieve the profit motive.
This is the price for not paying protection money to drug cartels in Juarez.
What distinguishes the cartels in Juarez is the level of terror they inflict. Some of what I saw, I can't show. Much of what happens is too brutal to be seen.
They've been playing games of one-upsmanship, of who can behead someone in the most sensational way.
In this lawless city, some do end up in jail. The main prison houses many lower-ranking gang members.
I'm here to see a prisoner who's serving a 38-year sentence. But he's lucky. He's in a quiet part of the jail. Here, they need to keep the drug gangs separate so they don't kill each other.
Oscar Riveros was a drug-dealing gang member and saw the brutality.
You steal from them, they will find you. They'll torture you and your family. Generally, they'll find your family and they torture them in front of you. They take videos. They will tell you what's going to happen to you. And usually, they will kill you.
They have removed half of my life because my sons were everything to me.
Rosa Vasquez's two sons were tortured, killed, and buried in shallow graves on the outskirts of Juarez.
I'm angry because there is no justice.
In this city, it can be hard to separate the good guys from the bad. In theory, the cops are the good guys, but many of them are actually working for the drug lords. Rosa's sons were killed by corrupt police.
So if you can't trust the army, you can't trust the police, you can't trust the federales, in Juarez, who can you trust?
You can't trust anyone.
Before I left, there was one final place I had to visit. A place of innocence and sadness. The orphanage.
There's a lot of pain. Imagine the 7,000 people killed in the city with sons, daughters, moms, brothers and sisters. It's 7,000 families with a loss of a person by killing.
Do the math. How many children, orphans, do we have here in Juarez now? Those are the next generation of killers if we do not do something. If we don't go to them, they're going to come to us, but transformed.
Until the love for these drugs is reduced in America, that problem is going to persist.
What's the price of life in Juarez?
The price for a human in Juarez is valueless. They're killing the people to establish the fear that anyone is reachable. Ciudad Juarez, in my view, is the most dangerous city on Earth right now. Taking into consideration Iraq, Afghanistan, all the revolutions happening.
Juarez's population is about the size of Perth, but it's the epicentre of the world's drug supply, including Australia, especially cocaine. I arrive in the midst of a bloody turf war between rival drug cartels. That afternoon, I meet press photographer Hector Dyer. When a murder happens, he's first on the scene. Hector's been called to a gangland execution, a daily ritual for him, a first for me.
There's literally a crowd on the street just watching on. For them, this is nothing new.
In the Middle East, they're all horrible, but nothing compared to Juarez, Mexico.
On the banks of the Rio Grande, the most dangerous city in the world shares its border with the safest city in America, El Paso. In a hostile place, I arrive to a warm welcome.